Welcome, everybody. My name is Martha Raymond, and it's a pleasure to be joined today by three amazing global thought leaders and founders of incredible advocacy organizations, literally around the world. So we are thrilled to be here today with you and to talk a little bit about really what it takes to start an advocacy organization, best practices, lessons learned in the process, and what it takes to really work in different situations, whether that's countries that maybe don't have access to screening or different treatment options, and what we all can do together to help make a difference in all of our communities. So with that, I'd like to introduce our panelists, and then we will come back and have more of a conversation. They'll tell you each a little bit about their organizations, and then we'll get started. So first off is Rebecca Keller, and she is the president of the Gloria Borges Wonderglow Foundation and in the United States. And then we have Hannah Neimer. She is with Said Colorectal Cancer Awareness Association in Lebanon. And then we have Eniola Akintunde from the Niola Cancer Foundation in Nigeria. All of us here on this panel have been caregivers to our loved ones and started these foundations in their honor and their memory. So I think that's just an important thing to bring up, because it just lets all of us know that as caregivers, as patients, there's so much we can do to honor those that have been affected by colorectal cancer. Becky, if I could turn it over to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. It is my honor to be present at this conference. My name is Becky Keller, and I'm the president and executive director of the Gloria Borges Wonderglow Foundation. If I may begin by sharing some background information about how our foundation came to be, because it is not an organization that was created after my daughter's passing. It is indeed an organization that my daughter built. She placed these shoes beside my bed, and I bravely wear them every day. My daughter and only child, Gloria Borges, founded the Wonderglow Foundation in 2011, 1 year after her own stage 4 colon cancer diagnosis at the age of 28. Gloria was a brilliant Duke Stanford Law alum on her way on the partner path at her dream law firm in Los Angeles at O'Melveny and Myers. We have no family history of colon cancer, and she had no symptoms to speak of. She brilliantly ran our organization for 2.5 years until her untimely passing on January 5th, 2014. After her passing, I quit my 30-year career in commercial banking to run the Wonderglow Foundation in support of all cancer patients, caregivers, and in honor of my daughter's incredible life and vision. Last September, we celebrated our 10th year as an organization. Gloria first reached thousands of people immediately with her blog that she called Wonderglow. Wunder in German means miracle, and glow is for Gloria. Her blog went viral and was read in over 135 different countries by over 100,000 unique visitors, and she knew that she had to go bigger. What she said is that for her and people like her with no symptoms to speak of, stage 4 cancer diagnosis at the age of 28, what she said is the colonoscopy screening age of 50 was well above a level that she would even be on the radar for. So what she said in founding Wonderglow is that what she needed, people like her, was the cure. So she created, in September of 2011, Gloria founded the Wonderglow Foundation with a mission to support cutting-edge research and moving the needle forward with research and efficacy and better treatments. Also, to encourage healthy lifestyle, diet, exercise, managing stress, getting enough sleep, and much more. Our foundation seeks to empower and inspire those fighting this disease, demystify the colon cancer diagnosis, and support research to eradicate it. As primarily an all-volunteer organization and through grassroots funding, we have proudly gifted $1.55 million in funds to colorectal cancer research to date. Wonderglow Foundation funded research has been published in 52 peer-reviewed research papers. We dedicated the GI oncology lab of Dr. Heinz Joseph Lenz of colorectal cancer at USC Norris Comprehensive Cancer Center in 2016. Our grant to Stanford Medical University targets urgent work understanding the mechanisms of colorectal cancer progression. In 2016, through our Wonder Project funding, new biomarker patents were filed at USC Norris Comprehensive Cancer Center. Also, as patient navigators, Wonderglow facilitates consultations with our affiliate doctors and surgeons at USC Norris and at Keck Medical Hospital of USC. Pre-COVID, I would be at the consultations with the patients. I would be with their families at the surgery, able to speak to the surgeon afterwards. In the consultations with the patients, when you have cancer, a lot of the words pass by you. You're not hearing everything. And if you have an advocate sitting in there with you who is able to listen to the minutia that is going on, wait till the end, wait till the patient asks questions, you ask questions for more clarity, then you step outside and say, this is what was great about your consultation right now. And they don't even remember. I've been with patients during their surgery where the husband has been there, listen to everything that the surgeon has said. And a week later, I'll ask the patient, how's your leg? Are you feeling any nerve damage? Why? Why are you saying this? I said, because the surgeon said he had to staple something and he was hoping that there was no nerve damage, but there was. So you become the brain and the ears for these patients as advocates, as patient navigators, and that's what we do. We also have an online Facebook group called Wonderglow Chat that offers support to caregivers, patients everywhere. We offer free Reiki and guided meditation program to all caregivers, survivors, families who have lost their loved one. We had it in person at 2 locations pre-COVID. We went to a Zoom format in 2020 and continue that. It's really wonderful because it allows us the opportunity to reach so many of the people in other states. We also created the Children of Wonderglow programs in support of the children of cancer patients. Our holiday toy collection drive distributes presents to children of all cancers throughout the country. We even reach a family in Malaysia and in Canada. Wonderglow also awards scholarships, annual scholarships to graduating high school seniors who have lost a parent to colorectal cancer. We have awarded 21 scholarships to date. We travel to San Francisco and Chicago to attend ASCO conferences to expand our knowledge and ability to better serve, bring hope to, and inform the patients who we support. Gloria and the Wonderglow Foundation in 2015 was named Philanthropist of the Year by the Los Angeles Business Journal. And last year in 2021, Southwest Airlines named the Gloria Borges Wonderglow Foundation in the top 2% of nonprofit organizations in the country for spreading kindness in our community. My daughter, Gloria, left us with a legacy, hers and ours, to find the cure for cancer while loving life, being grateful, and remembering that every day is a chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Just incredible work that you continue to carry on in Gloria's memory. And I just wanted to mention that I believe it was 2013 that Gloria spoke at a national conference that I was working on the program development for. And, you know, she wasn't feeling that great at the time, but you never would have known it. And she just left us all, you know, inspired and just in awe of all that she was accomplishing. And I know you carry that on every day, Becky. So
thank you. Thank you. That was 3 months before her passing. And I traveled with her and she had oxygen and she was just, I mean, just resilient and just kept going. And yeah, so I proudly carry it on. Cancer took away the ability for Gloria to have children. I'll never be a grandmother. So the Wonderglow Foundation is my baby to care for. And this is what I do. And I'm honored to do so.
Absolutely. And definitely, you know, as I said at the beginning, you know, everybody on our panel, global change makers, and just making that difference for families. And so thank you, Becky, for that introduction. And we'll be coming back with questions here. Eniola, can I come to you next just to give a a little bit of a background and the incredible work that you do in Nigeria every day.
Yeah, thank you, Martha. Thank you. And it's a great pleasure coming on this platform once again. Last year, we did it during the COVID-19, and here we are again. So congratulations to GCCA, and thank you, Martha, well done. Yes, again, my name is Eniola Salo Akitunde. I'm actually a gemstone designer, and I started my cancer advocacy journey in 2014 after I lost my husband to colorectal cancer. Prior to that time, I've never heard about colorectal cancer, not until 2013, and I've said this over time, and I will keep saying it's part of the advocacy. Then coming from my country, Nigeria, where we have a challenge, we have challenge in our health system, and then the awareness on colorectal cancer is very, very minimal. I've never heard about it. Then my late husband took ill, and we thought he had malaria in our country. When someone is sick, the first thing they treat, or the doctor do, is to first of all start treating you for malaria. Then after that, they started treating typhoid, and they treated him for about some months, and he wasn't getting better. Then after a while, we're asked to go and do some tests, and those tests doesn't come cheap. As at that time in 2013, those tests were costing us over $8,000, and we are not high earner, we are low income earner, or let's say we are middle family. So it's not as if we are rich or we could afford even the test. But we were surprised that they were asking us to do MRI, CT scan, and we've never done all those things before, and the amount we were paying. Anyway, we did it, and he had cancer. And he did all what they were supposed to do. They gave him the chemotherapy sections they needed to give him. And after a while, the cancer came back. And when it came back, and I thought, oh, I lost hope in my country healthcare, because we know what it is with Nigerian healthcare system. And I said, I want to take him out of the country. And I had to take him to churches. We have to put him on TV to raise money. There's nothing like what you have in other countries of the world, where you can actually pull funds together, bring people to know. You have to do it one-on-one in my country. And then we looked for people, friends, few family members, and we were able to raise the money, and we took him to India. And when I got to India, nothing was hidden from me. In my country, people don't talk. People hide information. Even doctors don't even come out and tell patients they are going to die. But when I got to India, the doctor was telling me, my husband will soon die, the cancer has spread, and they showed me everywhere. And it's so, those information were just new for me. The treatment, the malaria treatment, then it's now cancerous. The next thing, we need to take him to India. Then they were telling me in India, he has few more weeks to live. He has 3 more weeks to live. If he needs to tidy up, I was asking, what is he tidying up? How can he die? It's not possible that he will die. You can't tell me my husband is going to die. We don't have such conversation in my country. A doctor don't tell patient he's going to die. So how can you tell me my husband wants to die? So yeah, 5 more seconds more, he will give up. He gave up. So I brought his corpse back to the country. And I sat down after we buried him. The family said, my in-laws, I think my sister-in-law back then, accused me of witchcraft, that I gave him cancer, that I killed him. And then they were hostile. My in-laws were really hostile to me. I was able to put through. I still share this story with my team this afternoon a while ago, that I got to a stage of insanity because I lost my mind completely. I have my picture, how I looked then. I couldn't comprehend things. So I had to see a psychologist. They need to start taking care of me. I stopped going to church. And I even got to the point I was saying there was no God. Because if there was God, then I was saying there was no God. But if there was God, how would I have 8 miscarriages? How would I lost a child? And now my husband. So all those things. But after a while, I realized that, see, this is a journey that you have to pass through. This is a journey because you have to be a light in the darkness. You have to start talking about this thing to Nigerians. And those thoughts started coming on strongly. It was getting at me that, Eniola, you need to do something. So many Nigerians will be in this situation. If your husband has been screened in 2008 or 2007, cancer is a gradual process. It's not sudden. It's not witchcraft like what they believe there. There are some things you were not doing. Was your husband ever screened? No. Did you ever go to the hospital? No. So these are the things that we're missing. There's a gap. There's a gap, and there was something missing in your life that you guys were not doing. So this thing has nothing to do, maybe, even if you're a Christian, yes, you're a Christian, you go to church, you're not balancing it up. So I sat down and I said, okay, what do I do? How can I give back to my country? Can we just change the narrative about this thing? And so I have to look for someone I'm not a doctor, I'm a gemstone designer, so I look for a gastrointestinal doctor. His name is Dr. Adedapo Shinowo. He's in one of our hospitals in Nigeria, in Lagos. So I got him. So we started Neola Cancer Care Foundation. We started Neola Cancer Care Foundation in 2015. And what do? We create advocacy, we create awareness, we educate people that colorectal cancer can actually, if it is picked early, there is a cure. It is not witchcraft. It is not because God does not love you. It is not because there's something that is bad luck. That's why you have colon cancer. Because that's what they believe in my country. So we have to start taking the conversation to our churches. We take it to unusual places. I started talking to people, sharing my experiences, telling them what they need to do, telling them they need to eat right, telling them they need to start checking themselves. They were asking me what kind of test. Most Nigerians have not heard about colonoscopy before then. Most Nigerians have not heard about fecal record blood test, that's FOBT. Neither do most Nigerians know about FIT, fecal immunochemical test. We've not heard about all this conversation. Then we also started talking to the government. We also started engaging the doctors. Can we start having this conversation on death? Because if you say we're a religious country, we want to bring in Christianity into this, can we even look into the Bible? Some people in the Bible never got their healing. They were actually sick, not because God hated them. They were sick. They didn't get their healing. Can we start balancing this conversation? Then the doctors, can you please tell the patient if it's terminal, open up. Tell them it is terminal. If you can't tell them, tell the caregivers. So now our NGO, what we do, if they can't tell the caregiver, they cannot tell the patient, we as an NGO step in. They talk to us, we get the accurate information after the diagnosis, whatever it is, the stages. If it's palliative, because that's what we have now, because people still present their case very late. Some cannot afford the screening. It's quite still expensive. Nigerians have challenge in healthcare, so there's a lot of challenges. So now what we do is we talk to doctors. If you know you cannot look straight into the patient's eyes and tell them this is the situation, oh, this patient is going to pass on, oh, this patient is on palliative care. We as an NGO, Neola Cancer Care Foundation, the first colorectal cancer NGO in West Africa, we will have the conversation with the patient. And we balance it up because they are religious. Immediately you are coming to them, they are telling you, it is not my portion. He will not die. It is a lie. You don't tell us. So we know how to balance it up as an NGO that, no, this is the situation. I will use myself as an example. I've passed through this before. This is what you need to do. At this stage, cancer is a gradual stage. This is what you expect. This is what you need to. In some few months time, you will be seeing this and you need to tidy up some information. You need to tidy up your life. You need to show the person more love. You need to change his diet or her diet. They need to do this. So those are the conversations we are having. So far, we've been able to reach out to about 50,000 Nigeria. That is having a physical event. We have one of the biggest events in West Africa. It is called Ijoya. Why are we doing Ijoya? Ijoya is about dance. It means come and dance. Because Nigerians love enjoying. I don't know, maybe if most people you follow us on social media, you can see the lifestyles of Nigeria. Despite the fights, the challenges we are having, Nigeria enjoy life. They love party. They love listening to good music. Whereas they don't like taking care of themselves. They rather buy clothes, look very well. Instead of them, they pay that money or take care or go for screening. So we started as an NGO. They will not listen to you when you want to talk about cancer. They will tell you it is not our portion. So we said, okay, since they love dancing, let us start something that it will bring people out. So we started Ijoya. Ijoya, we bring about 2,000 people together. We play music, we bring in musicians, we bring in exercise experts, we bring in facilitators, health facilitators, we bring in doctors, and we do screening. While people are being screened, they are dancing, people are being screened, and we're also talking about colorectal cancer because we need to get them, and we want them to listen, we want them to hear the message, and that's the only way we can achieve that. So we've been doing that since 2017, and then the 5th edition is this year. We've done it for 4 years now, and we'll be able to reach out to people. We'll be able to screen in each Ijoya. It's still difficult getting them to screen because they'll tell you that nothing is wrong with them. And we always tell them that colorectal sometimes is asymptomatic. The signs might not be there and you have it. So it is still better if you get screened and you're sure of your status, you know what we are dealing with. So we are able to screen close to 1,000 plus Nigerians since 2017 because it's not all that easy. And then also, I've been able, my jury is on UICC website on Duel Against Cancer. I designed a jury, and that was in 2019, World Cancer Day is on the site. If you Google my name, you see the jury. And why that jury, the reason for that jury was because when my late husband was sick, and we're paying every 10 days, we're paying about $1,000 for chemo. It might look like it's not much, but it was a big amount for us as middle income earner. And what I will do, if my churches are not able to pay for the chemo, I will use my jewelry. I'll design jewelry, sell those jewelry, and use it to pay for my husband's chemo. So that jewelry is, I designed a symbolic jewelry. It fights Duel Against Cancer is on the website. That is one of the things we've been able to do. And we've been able to reach out to over 10 million Nigerians talking about colorectal cancer on radio, on TV, we're on Facebook. We've been trying to reach out even to other African countries. We are talking to them. Then also patient navigation and palliative care. We've been able to reach out, as I've said, Nigeria is having serious issue concerning palliative care because most of our cancer cases are late stages. So we have more deaths from cancer than other countries, than other African countries. Yes, and we have very little. I think we have about 10 radiotherapy machines now for a country of over 250 million. For a country that is having over 72,000 death rates annually, and for a country that is having over 1,200 new cases annually, and we have about just 10 working radiotherapy as we speak, is not a good one for us. So the workload is enough. Then also every Christmas, because when my late husband was sick, every Christmas we don't see people in my house. Prior before then, people always come and visit us. But when my late husband was sick, our house was very lonely. It was a lonely journey. And so after I passed on and we started Neola, I remember that some people on Christmas Day will also be in the situation I was some years back. So since 2014, we'll be spending Christmas Day with cancer patients in our local hospitals. What do? We take fruits, vegetable, organic foods to them. And because of the situation of the country, there's so much poverty in our country. Most people cannot afford food. And it's so sad when cancer patients reach out to the NGO that they've taken their chemo and they don't have food to eat. So as an NGO, we give food out to people. And we are still doing that every year, even up to now. Apart from Christmas Day, before Christmas Day, we give out food. We do our local food, basket of fruits. With on our social media, we post all the pictures there. We take it to the hospital. And it's so amazing. The feeling, seeing this patient, it's phenomenal. it gives them hope because they feel that on Christmas Day, everybody has forgotten them, but Neola Cancer Care Foundation is giving them, is telling them we are in this with you. And then also patient navigation. We have a problem in Nigeria. People don't go to the hospital. They've lost confidence in the healthcare system. And then also, I think is part of our tradition. People don't listen to their doctors. They rather listen to their pastors. That's their religious leader. And then they do something in my country. When you go to the hospital, they get their prescription or they get the doctor advice, they trash it. And they listen to what somebody say or what their pastor says. And so we as an NGO, we are changing the narrative. We are telling them, listen to your doctors. So we are telling them, they said, oh, they don't know what to go. They don't know what to do. The doctor said this and the doctor is not picking their call. We now tell them, talk to us at an NGO. We are advocates, and that's why we are here for you. They will listen to us. Your doctor will listen to Neola Cancer Care Foundation. So we've been able to reach out to our doctors. In fact, most hospitals in Nigeria now are recognized when any patient is coming from Neola, they will listen to them. We told them it is your right, it's your body. Your doctor has no right to withhold any information from you. Your doctor must tell you what is happening, and you have a right to ask questions because it is your body. Because we are coming from a background that they tell you don't talk, don't say it out, don't say it out, don't tell this one, keep it to yourself, don't tell anybody that you have cancer. No, that there will be stigma. There's no stigma. There's no stigma. Share it, say it out. We are ready to help you. So those are some of the things Neola has been doing since inception, and we still have our challenges, but we are not giving up. We'll continue to do it. And on the screening, we still early detection, accurate diagnosis saves lives. Eating habits, healthy lifestyle is important. Thank you.
Neola, thank you so much. And boy, talk about overcoming obstacles. I mean, obviously in your personal life, and we're so sorry for the loss of your husband and everything you went through, but talk about overcoming obstacles and like you said, changing the narrative and providing, true education and dispelling myths and misinformation, and just incredible as always. So I look forward to coming back to you and chatting a little bit more. And thank you, though. Incredible work. Hannah, look forward to hearing about all the work you're doing in Lebanon. Incredible work.
Thank you, Martha and Nicole, for this roundtable and making us get to know more about Rebecca and Eniola. So my story is very similar to Eniola's. And so it started, we are the Said NGO, is the only NGO in Lebanon and in the MENA region dedicated to screening and awareness and advocacy. So, and behind this, and we fight to raise awareness, and we facilitate participation in CRC screening. And behind this fight, there's always a story, the story of a family. In 2009, my husband Said, and I named the NGO after him. He was 57 years old. And as Eniola said, he had no symptoms, no family history. And we used to have a family doctor. So we used to go annually for our annual checkups. And the family doctor never asked us to do any screening or never mentioned anything. And in 2009, that means like 13 years ago, the word wasn't very common about colon cancer screening. And what hurts me more, that my husband used to tell everyone, that everyone should do a colonoscopy at the age of 50. And when I would ask him, why don't you do it, Said? He would say, no, my doctor didn't ask me, so maybe I don't need it. And when he was 57 years old, felt some symptoms, and he was diagnosed with very late stages of colon cancer. And with this diagnosis, our life completely changed. We have three kids, but my family and me, and we went through a very, very hard time. And him also, he was very, the 2 years, he spent 2 years in treatment and surgeries and in chemo, and what can pass, what can go on with this. And it could have been prevented if there were more awareness about screening, or if the family doctor were to tell us about it. Because and then what makes me more like what made it more difficult and still makes it more difficult, it is that it is preventable, treatable, and beatable. So after 2 years after losing my husband, I decided that it's not acceptable anymore to lose anyone with colon cancer, or to let anyone suffer or go through what we went through. And then I decided to found this NGO. And as Eniola said, the same thing, I tried to approach like who will help me, because we needed 4 founding members. So I got a gastroenterologist, a nurse, and a researcher, and we founded it. And since 6 years ago, since its inception, we had many accomplishments, and in different sectors. At the research level, we started in 2016, and in the same year, we published a study. We conducted a study on a sample of 1,200 people all around Lebanon. I wanted to know that is it me, only our family, that we are ignorant about this topic, or there are a lack of awareness? And from the 1,200 per person that we asked, from all sectors of life, from all life, you know what I mean, from all socioeconomic status, educational levels, and only 39% of the sample have ever heard about colon cancer. And when we ask this, the second question would be, how did you hear about this topic? They would say, we have someone in the family, we know someone, our neighbor, So the third question was, did you know about screening for colon cancer? 50% of those who knew that colon cancer exists didn't know that we can prevent it with early screening. So it was very low. The knowledge was very lacking. And then after our efforts, after 2 years ago, we did a repetition, another study to see our efforts, how they were paid, like how it changed, if it changed the level of awareness. And we noticed we published another study, and it was the results were very good. There was an increase in awareness. And we published another study about we have an inflatable colon. We make people go through it, and to see it concretely, how it develops from a small polyp to stage 1, stage 2, and then they would feel it, and they were so they would be convinced to do the FIT. They would see and realize how important it is. This is at the research level. At the national level, thank God, we have a decree from the government, and we were able to advocate with the government, and they established a national committee by the Ministry of Public Health to plan for the launching of the campaign, because they have never thought of doing this campaign, and they never thought that it is very important. So that was a great milestone for us to convince them, and we were on that committee. And 2 years later, in 2018, we had a big event at the ministry, and we launched a plan to launch the campaign. And it was followed on the next year, like in 2019, with a big awareness campaign of awareness in the ministry, and we represented the civil society. And at the community level, during those 5 years, we were able, before the COVID-19 until 2019, we were able to do more than 328 activities all around Lebanon, in the four sites, north, south, and in very rural areas. And we would take our inflatable colon and tell the people about it, and then we will offer the free screening. And it was very successful, because the uptake, we used to give 100 fit tests, they would go only 2 or 3. But now, but after like 4 years on the ground, now we are able to, we offer like 100, they take 60 go of them. And it's more than 60% uptake, which is very good, because we were trying to overcome all the barriers that we meet. And if we have time, I will tell you all the barriers, because it's I think they are common with Nigeria. I don't know if it's common in the US, but I mean it's very common. Many barriers. And at the international level, we are proud to be a member of Global Colorectal Association, and we are also members of European Digestive European of DICE. And recently we joined the Inspire to Live. It's in Holland, and we are doing great collaborations together. Recently, I don't know if you have heard about what's going on in Lebanon. We have very, very unprecedented challenges. But despite all these odds, we adapted. We adapted all our activities. And in 2021, we launched a virtual social media campaign. And we organized the first virtual walkathon. And we offered free screening just by our virtual campaign. We could register more than 590 individuals who registered for the FIT. Half of them did the test, and the positivity rate of the test of the FIT, fecal immunochemical test, was more than 10%. So, and we covered for the colonoscopies as well for those 10%. Yeah, and we partnered with many hospitals and with many orders with the ministry last year to make the campaigns as successful as possible. Yet we have many barriers with all these things, and with all our efforts, we have many barriers. Whether it's on the individual level, on the provider level, or on the system level.
Just incredible that, again, like we were saying with Eniola, just overcoming these obstacles and, continuing to, create opportunities. I think with all of, everyone, it's just incredible. And the one thing I was thinking, Becky, Eniola, Hannah, when you were speaking, it's so important that with all your organizations, you're really meeting people where they are. And I think that's just incredibly important to raise awareness and the education, whether, it's at a Duke basketball game with Coach K, or whether it's, the dancing with, in Nigeria, or Hannah, like you were saying, with, the inflatable colon. I just think it's that importance that we all can learn from with grassroots advocacy to say, in our communities, we're going to find out where we can make that change and have those conversations that you might not have otherwise. So I applaud all of you for all those efforts and really finding ways to engage the community that you might not normally, have those opportunities and creating those. It's incredible. If new advocates are listening to this, which I know they are globally, and if you were to give them just, a very short piece of advice as they're starting an organization, or if they want to become an advocate, what advice might that be? And I think for me, I would say, and I've learned from all of you today, is, don't quit. Like, it may get tough and there may be barriers. There definitely will be, and there'll be financial obstacles and people may say no, but I think that would be my advice is, just keep that goal in mind and just keep working toward it. And I think sometimes slow and steady is the best way to build any organization. So I think that would be my advice. Becky, I turn to you first just for a short, word of advice or two.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is not an extrovert. There's some people that are introverts. When we approach them, the three of us here and you as well, Martha, who have had the experience as a caregiver, have gone through this cancer diagnosis, I believe there's kind of an immediate built-in understanding of trust, what they've seen, what you've been through, and that you're still here in the trenches caring about them, despite the fact that you lost your loved one. And so they immediately respect that. I gauge the people's personalities though, because there are those that want to be that advocate and be involved in things. And then there's the ones that want to be more hidden in the shadows, and that's okay too. I think the most important thing that, you know, as an advocate telling, let's say, a new diagnosis, a patient who's newly diagnosed, is to, after they've Googled all the statistics and got so much misinformation out there, they need to, I believe it's so important to go get your second opinion and your third opinion from national cancer institutions, from centers where you've got a game plan, you have a focus, you've got some information, you've got some understanding of mutations and maybe some foundation 1 or CRC testing being run for them, so that, or if there's familial genetics, so that your family, your brother, your child can be tested. I just think that there's misinformation that can be shared, and you've got to be wary of that when you're facing a cancer diagnosis. The fear is the thing that, and then it's overwhelming. You have voices telling you this, this, this. So I think as an advocate, approaching someone with your heart, with your story, with your understanding, and also with the knowledge, if they don't want in, you back away until they reach back out to you and say, hey, remember that story you shared? Can you tell me again how to get the foundation 1 testing? Can you tell me what a KRAS and a BRAF mutation is? Can you explain? Because it's overwhelming for them. They're thinking cancer, they're thinking I'm not going to be here. And like you and Yola, I deal primarily with stage 4, late stage cancer patients. So the fear factor and the worry, you know, what's going to go on, that where Wonderglow and what Gloria built for us in demystifying the colon cancer diagnosis is number 1. Get that fear in the background so you can roll up your sleeves and arm yourself with what you need personally, whether it be out there advocating one-on-one, whether being in the background, maybe helping in the way that you can help, or just helping yourself to have the emotional support that you need. One, I don't know if we'll have a chance to get back to me, but one really important area, I believe, Martha, I don't know if you know that this is in the works yet, is the long-term patient support care. There's so many patients that are in 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, and there's no end. They're not curable. They're not surgically curable. So they're treatment after treatment. And I see for that group, they need emotional care. They need emotional support. And if they're in a group where it's a brand new diagnosis and they're just afraid of everything, they're kind of on different playing fields. So I kind of see a need out there, if there are people, advocates out there that are interested in creating something like that. I think there's a really great footprint that they could create for the long-term support, you know, care as well. I mean, there's a lot of groups. We're very fortunate here in the United States to have so many wonderful colorectal cancer institutions, that nonprofit organizations that specialize in their various specialty. There's room for us all. And for the one group that says, I relate to this, or I would like to call on Congress, I'll be going to my first call on Congress, you know, next month. And for those people that want to get that out there, and Yola, like you, my daughter painted love life paintings, and she wanted our events to be fun. She wanted to love life at our events because she didn't want you to fear cancer. She wanted you to come, you know, you're going to have a great time at, you know, Tee Off Against Cancer golf tournament. You know, you're going to have great music's going to be playing, but then you're also going to get some good information that is going to help you along your cancer journey for your survival, whether emotionally, physically, or financially. You know, it's just, it's outreach, and that sort of networking gets you the support crew that I feel is most beneficial for patients out there. But trying to not read the statistics and arming yourself with great second and third opinions, getting that genetic testing, if you're under 50, the germline testing done, knowing if you're Lynch syndrome, familial, FAP, I feel that that's so important, because you're armed to face, like you said, Yola, this is the path that we're walking. This is what was chosen. It wasn't, created by any witchcraft. God didn't strike us down, but this is the road we're given. How we walk it is our decision. And I believe as advocates, we help you find your place.
I agree so much that, yeah, just beautifully said, that because we're all different, that we will have that individual path. And I think it's so important because sometimes I know we want to help so much. And some people just need to take that step back, process what they can, and then come back. And I think it's so important, like you said, to just recognize that and understand that we're all individuals and that we have our own, our own coping mechanisms. So thank you, Becky. Beautifully said. And I'll turn it to you too for just a brief, if you could give advice for someone looking to start an advocacy group or trying to become an advocate, for people you train, what would that, little bit of advice be?
For me, I'll still have to come from what's obtained in my country, in my climb, which is different from what's happening in other countries like US. I remember when I was in US in 2019, I met a couple of groups, organization on colorectal cancer. Then I saw a lot of support group and all that. Then even as an advocate, just like what Rebecca said, as an advocate, sometimes you just need the energy. You also need the inspiration and the motivation. Yes, what I'm going to tell an upcoming advocate, a mentee, I'm going to be real, that is a tough one. And the journey is not a stroll in the park, especially in a country like ours. That's the situation we find ourselves in this country, in Nigeria. We are seeing more deaths than survival. But that shows that we have a lot of work to do. We can't afford to throw in the towel. There are some who is going to leave. And those ones that will leave, it depends on God. But we have a lot of work to do to keep those ones alive. And so we can't afford to throw in the towel. We still have to continue the advocacy work. We still have to hold ourselves together. And I told them when we closed for the day today, I told them, I said, see, you guys are an inspiration to me. And I want me to be an inspiration to you on this cancer journey, on this advocacy journey. So we can't throw in the towel. We don't even have an excuse. So we just have to go on and do the little we can do. Because unfortunately, Nigeria does not have an hospice. And we are having more of palliative cases, which means we are having more cases of end of life. Because it's another thing when a caregiver sees his or her loved one died in pain, they will never be the same again. It will change them psychologically, emotionally for life. And it will be nice for you to have a damaged caregiver after the death of their loved one. So these are the real conversations that we'll have with a caregiver.
So important is it's not easy being an advocate, and it's not easy because you do put yourself out there and you do become attached, and it's difficult. And I think we all have to take that step sometimes back and say, okay, I'm going to take care of myself so I can, help patients better, in the future. But it is not easy. You're absolutely right. Do you have just a brief, words of advice that you would give for anybody starting in advocacy?
Yeah, I would give the advice of just keep fighting. I'm organizing a walkathon at the end of the March campaign to raise awareness about and to make something entertaining, as Niola said, like the dancing. Here to raise awareness about the importance of walking and active life, to be together in a community, because we are all fighting for the same issue and from the same bad experience, but we turn this experience to motivation to help others, to be together with them. And thank you.
I just want to thank all three of you ladies so much for all the work you do, and for spending time with us today. One thing I'll say to our audience is that any of the things that our panelists spoke about today, we will have links to their organizations, or for example, their walkathon or whatever that might be as part of our attendee hub, so that you can go and you can check out the different organizations and the wonderful work they're doing so much. So Becky and Hannah and Aniola, thank you for your time and for all you do.